Martina, I'm glad you brought this bill. I think it's a good bill. I have an amendment I need to put on it to put it in its proper posture, if you don't mind.
Is that?
It's up to the chairman.
Ms. Lala is going to explain the amendment.
Mr. Chairman and members, this set of amendments is numbered 2911, and it provides relative to the distribution of net sports wagering proceeds that shall be distributed to pari-mutuel wagering facilities in the horse breeding industry. A fixed percentage of 5% to supplement purses as follows: 70% to supplement purses for thoroughbred races, 30% to supplement purses for quarter horse races, a fixed percentage of 2/3 of 1% to the Executive Committee of the Louisiana Thoroughbred Breeders Association, a fixed percentage of 1/3 of 1% to the Executive Committee of the Louisiana Quarter Horse Breeders Association.
Can I ask a question?
Sure.
Does this cut into the tax rate, or is this a dispute
No.
between the tracks and the breeders and the?
It's just the thoroughbreds and the breeders.
Can you get a copy of it?
Can we see a copy of it? I don't have any right to object, but I just, I'm just saying.
It doesn't hurt you
As
at all.
far as I'm concerned, that's a dispute that I don't need to be involved in.
That's what I'm saying.
So
Can I ask you a question, or you can, this amendment, as you understand it, this has to do with
You can do them late. You can read from that.
the sports wagering that's going to take place at the tracks,
Yes.
and this has to do with their money that they collect.
The money they collect.
It doesn't touch the
No.
It doesn't affect the net gaming proceeds and how that's
None of that.
divided up.
Touches
This is
none of
just
that money.
when the track, one of the 4 racetracks that are going to have this, how they split their money amongst themselves.
Yes.
Okay.
Representative Bagneris has made a motion to amend. Does anybody have any opposition to the amendment? Representative Moss objects. Representative Moss, you have a question? Ask a question on the amendment, sure.
Thank you.
And you can ask that of Representative Bagneris or Representative Moreno.
Probably whichever one can answer the question, because I see the 2911 showing a 5%, and I heard Senator Martini say he doesn't want to get in this fight between the racing groups, the thoroughbreds and the quarter horses and everything, but also have a copy of a proposed 2902 showing a 4% and a 2% split. Can the racing industry explain to me why do we have 2 different ones going on? I would think that everybody would try and work out and be united, but I don't understand.
This is a question for Representative Bagneris.
This is the first. I mean, I've heard that they were going to do something like this, but I've never seen it. And quite frankly, I'm just trying to get the bill.
Just want the bill passed. You're not really comment on the amendment. Representative Moreno, do you want to comment on the amendment?
No,
Or the
I'll
question on the amendment? You wait. All right, let's let Representative Bagneris, you want to answer that question?
Yeah, it's just a total of 6%, with 5% going to the purses and 1% going to the breeders.
All right, Representative Moss.
I understand that, but I'm looking at a 4 and a 2, and I mean, if industry's here, I would like them to answer the question, because it's.
This is what we're going to do. If Senator Martini, Representative Moreno will yield the table.
Sure.
Let's have the Horseman Association come up.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, because I'm confused as to the 2 different. It's an internal fight, I know.
Okay. And Representative James is correct. Representative Moss, I'm assuming at this point you are objecting to the amendment because you may have an amendment yourself, but you want to vet your questions
I would
to the
like my
Horseman.
questions answered before I put anything
I
out.
get it. And so, gentlemen, I need you to tell me who you are, and why don't we do that first? So start right to left.
I'm Ed Finassi, Executive Director, Louisiana Horsemen's Benevolent and Protective Association.
And you filled out a card.
Yes, sir.
Okay, sir?
Bernard Chattis, President of the Louisiana Horsemen's Benevolent and Protective
We got a card from you?
Association. Yes, sir.
Great.
John Duviel of the LHBPA General Counsel. I did not fill out a
I
card.
need you to fill out a card just when you can. And you can fill out a white one if it's just for informational purposes. All right, Representative Moss, ask your question.
Can one of y'all or both of y'all or somebody please answer the question, because to me this is like in-house fighting, and I need to know what direction this is going and why.
Yes, sir. The amendment proportions that go to purses versus breeder awards is identical to the last legislation that the industry agreed upon, which is the slot legislation. We were told that the percentages in the slot legislation were much too high to fit this form of gaming. So we simply, as an organization that represents the horsemen in the state, kept the proportion the same and reduced it to a level that is more acceptable, which is exactly 1/3 of the money that goes to the purses and slots go to the purses in sports gaming, and 1/3 of the money in slots that go to breeding goes to breeding and sports gaming. It's the same proportions that are in the slot law.
Okay, but why am I looking at 5% in one versus 4 and 2? And I mean, I'm waiting to hear from the other side too, because who represents who?
We represent all of the horsemen that own and train race horses in the state, whether it's thoroughbred or quarter horse
Okay.
people. We have 7,000 plus members. We always have some that do not agree with what the prevailing.
We don't agree up here on certain things, so I
Yes,
can
sir.
respect that. But at the same time, why? What's
They-
the difference
they-
between y'all's groups?
They are representatives of the breeders of horses only,
Okay.
which many of the breeders are members of our organization. I'll let our president speak to that. He is also a breeder, but again, they simply want more of the money for breeder awards than what they had gotten in slots.
Okay.
Right. I'm Bernard Chatters, and I'm an owner, a trainer, and a breeder. And our organization represents owners and trainers of racehorses, both quarter horses and thoroughbreds. And we didn't want to burden this new legislation or this new form of gaming. We just want to make sure that our members are represented in this new revenue stream. But because we find that what happens is when you bring on some new gaming, some of the older forms of gaming sometimes take a cut in revenues. And because we represent the spinoffs of our business are horseshoers and farmers and veterinarians and feed stores and truck drivers and all of that stuff, we have to do our best to make sure that we keep pace and keep everybody in step with what's going on. And the reason the percentages, we decided to stay with the same percentages, that work for us through the slot legislation, so that, there wouldn't be this infighting, and you wouldn't be able to say, well, the horse people are being a burden on the system. And so that's why we decided to keep the numbers where they are at the same levels.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Anyone else have questions for these gentlemen? I know we have questions in the queue for the author. All right, gentlemen, thank you. Joe Mapes is here, I think, from the other side. Joe, why don't you come up and address Representative Moss's question?
Good morning, Mr. Chairman, members of the committee. I'm Joe Mapes. I represent the Louisiana Quarter Horse Breeders Association, and we're here in opposition to this amendment. We, being the Louisiana Thoroughbred Breeders Association, with Mr. Harry Benoit here in our association, and we breed the horses, and if we didn't breed horses, there wouldn't be a horse industry. So we are united against this amendment, and the amendment that Representative Moss referred to earlier is an amendment for 4 and 2, which the industry, the presidents, the associations have worked together and agreed upon 4 and 2, so that's why we're here opposing the 5 and 1 amendment. Thank you. I'll answer any questions.
As he mentioned, I'm Harry Benoit, and I'm the lobbyist for the Louisiana Thoroughbred Breeders Association. I sponsored or worked with every racing bill for the last 20, maybe close to 30 years. Way back in the 80s, I was a member of this body for 3 terms. And some of the information that these gentlemen brought up before us kind of validates what we're here for. They're saying that the same formula is being used. They have 3 times as much for the purses as they do for the Breeders' Awards. Well, that's not working, because our percentage doesn't grow as fast as theirs does. So consequently, we've had to reduce the Breeders' Awards 3 times in the last 2-3 years. So that's the reason we're opposed to it. And on the lighter side, we had an author for an amendment, and like they do in horse races, we had to change jockeys. My good friends, Representative Bagnaris, I guess we had a miscommunication, and he had said he was going to handle our amendment. I lobbied the amendment, saying it was Mr. Bagnaris' amendment. Well, we weighed him this morning. He was a little bit too heavy, so we put Representative Moss as our jockey, and hopefully we but anyway, that's what they just said is living proof that the formula does not work.
Okay, let me see if I got this straight. All right. And thank you, Mr. Bennett. Okay, hold up. Let's come to order.
See?
Okay, Representative Bagnaris has made a motion to amend, and thank you, gentlemen, if we yield the table to Representative Moreno.
Sure.
Representative
Thank you, Mr.
Bagnaris has
Chairman,
made a
members.
motion to amend to 5 and 1. Okay. Representative Moss, I'm assuming, has an amendment in the queue or
I have one
at
that's
4 and 2. So
I haven't presented it yet.
Right.
That's why I needed
So
questions.
my question is, Representative Moss, are you objecting to Representative Bagnaris's amendment at 5 and 1?
Thanks, Bagnaris. You're right, Secretary. Yeah, that's what I'm afraid of.
That's part of being a jockey, I guess. Huh?
Yeah, that's what I'm afraid of. I think he got that one out of the gate kind of quick on there.
He was.
Mr. Chairman, may I ask? Can I ask Representative Bagnaris one question?
You can.
What I said before was I thought it was a dispute between the various people in the horse industry. I am concerned if you're going to, because the way I understand they do slots, they take their percentage off the top before the tax goes in. So to the extent that you take 6% off the top of the earnings at the track, that will cut into the early childhood developments. Because what happens is, if we do it, this is what I'm told. If we handle this the exact same way that they handle slots at the track, their money, that the horseman's money comes off the top, and then they apply the tax.
This is the way it was explained to me. Let me explain. This is the way it was just explained to me. Is that what you said? It doesn't. For slots, that what they do is the way that you're proposing to do this. But it says it shall pay annually from the annual net sports wagering proceeds. That means you're going to take, instead, what it should say is you take this money after the remaining money has been remitted for net sports wagering proceeds.
Okay, hold up. Okay.
It's coming off the top.
I got it.
Only at the track.
I got it. We're going to have to deal with the amendment, though, because we got a lot of other amendments, and we got to be the floor, too. And so, Representative Bagnaris has an amendment at 5 and 1. Representative Moss, do you object? Representative Moreno, do you object?
It doesn't come off the top, it's after expenses.
Don't object.
I don't
Representative Moreno doesn't object. Representative Moss, do you object?
Let them decide.
Mr. Chairman?
Hold on a minute.
No, I'm not
You're
objecting
not
at this
objecting.
time. I
Is
want
there
to see a vote.
is there an objection?
I want to see what happens. I'm not objecting.
With there being no objection, the amendment is adopted. Okay. That's done.
Not right.
Okay, Representative Marcel, you're next. The amendment is on.
My amendment is on.
No, your button was on.
I'm sorry, I don't have anything to offer. My
Okay.
amendment is on.
All right. Representative Carpenter, you're next in the queue.
I don't want to speak on the amendment. I want to speak on the bill.
Okay. We're going to need y'all to re-push your buttons. Representative Cruz, do you have a, on the amendment? No? Okay. If you don't have anything for the button, for the amendment, you need to, well, the amendment's on. And so, Representative Marcel, was your question on the bill?
I didn't have a question.
You don't have a question. Representative Carpenter, is your question on the bill?
Yes.
Okay. Now's the proper time to ask.
May I clarify something on the?
Meanwhile, we're going to call you back up if somebody makes another amendment, okay? That
Well,
amendment's done.
it's this amendment wasn't explained
Hey.
right.
Okay. Well, the amendment's already, Mr. Meanwhile, the amendment's already been added. We'll call you back up if Representative Moss makes his amendment. All right, Ms. Carpenter on the bill.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.